Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two 80 proof Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskeys. Um, I need to update something on one of them though. I'll do that right now. Then we'll get on with it. Burley Sullivan says, "You." No, he says, "Clinking the mugs, clinking the mugs, clinking the mugs." All right. Henry McKenna bourbon, Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey, sour mash bourbon whiskey. Company established in 1855. They used to run ads in the newspaper. Newspapers, magazines about Henry McKenna, talking about 117 years ago we started this distillery and so on. And then, but they were bought out, and it's owned by Heaven Hill today. BC's beer reviews, regardless if it's canned or bottle or can, he's going to review it and maybe draft one day. BC tomorrow night at 7:20 to 7:30, depending on when we can get started. We're going to do pumpkin beer. So if anybody wants to join pumpkin beers, get your pumpkin beer. I've got two so far. I got to get a third one for the third week. Then Friday, we're doing Fandango Friday liqueurs. That's the plan. Burley Sullivan says, "You." Okay. All right. So Henry McKenna, it would cost me $8.99 at Majoria's $8.99. You can find it around. John Anilli said he'd never seen it, but it's around. It's around. Henry McKenna came from Ireland in 1837 during the days when Ireland was part of the United Kingdom. All of Ireland, not just Northern Ireland, which is still British territory today, but back then the whole island. But anyway, he started a distilling company in 1855. BC's Beer Review says, "Okay, cool. I'll be there tonight." You mean tomorrow night? Because if you go there tonight, I won't be there. Burley says, "You tried Warlock?" No, nope. By the time I went to try it, they stopped selling Southern Tier in Louisiana. That was 1814, right? 2014. Pumpkin flavored stout by Southern Tier. Yeah. Southern Tier just disappeared in 2014. Tom Sims, age 4 years. Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey. This has an age statement. Now that Henry McKenna has no age statement, which means it has to be at least 4 years old. This is saying 4 years old. The youngest whiskey in this is 4 years old. Now it doesn't say it's distilled by Tom Sims Distillery, which is really Heaven Hill. Now I found out the trademark was first used for this brand in 1963. So not even 60 years ago. But it says, now there's a 6-year age. I bought this in Texas. I can't remember the name of the store. It was a really cool liquor store, all kind of stuff in there. It was amazing. And they had it on sale for $9.99. The normal price was $11.99. And then there was a 6-year age, which stupidly I did not buy, but I mean, you can't buy everything. And apparently there's an 86 proof version of this. I don't know if there's a bottle and bond version. But it's another one of those companies that got bought out. But notice what it says on the bottle: especially selected and bottled by Thomas W. Sims Distillery, which is Heaven Hill. Age 4 years. It doesn't say distilled by them. It says especially selected and bottled by them. So what is that telling us? Well, it's telling me that somebody else makes the bourbon and they're just selecting barrels that they want for this and bottling it. Who's making it for them? It could be Buffalo Trace, could be Glenmore, but I don't think Glenmore distills bourbon. I think they only distill rum right now. Could be Lux Row, could be Jim Beam, any of those, because they might have leftover bourbon that didn't maybe come out right or didn't meet what they were looking to, you know what I'm saying, didn't meet their standards or whatever, and could be Wild Turkey or any of those people. And they might say, well, could be Four Roses. They might say a deal, a deal between the two companies. They say, look, Tom Sims is like a budget brand anyway, and if you want to make a deal, we got this excess bourbon that didn't quite meet what we wanted, but for $9.99 to $11.99, people not gonna really care, you know. And then we have some 6-year age for other utilization. Got 86 proof. Could be old Evan Williams. See, that makes sense, Evan Williams. So it's probably something like that. You tried. Oh, yeah, that's right. Tomorrow night. BC. Rest in peace, John Gruden's career. Now, if he'd have been like that guy Mixon, that running back, and he'd only smashed a woman's face into a tabletop, he'd have been all right. He'd still be working. But he said some ugly things, and that is not allowed. No. Even though it was over. Well, I'm not saying you should say ugly things. You should not. You should be nice. Say nice things about people. Don't say ugly things. But if you're going to do something bad, make it violence against women, because the NFL will allow that. Quite a bit, they allow it. They frown upon it because it's inconvenient, doesn't look good, it's troublesome, you know. But to say ugly things, especially with a certain context, oh, intolerable. Gruden should have abused his wife and kids. Oh yeah, well, you see, all right. Anyway, enough of that. He'll be working somewhere, maybe Catawba College or Northeast Louisiana, something like that. All right, Tom Sims. He'll have to grovel, you know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I got caught. That's what it really means. Not he wasn't sorry when he wrote it. I'm so sorry that I got caught. This stuff is orange. It's weird looking orange or copper, but it's orange. And this stuff, McKenna, is brown. So they're not the same color. Hope my emails never come out in public. Ooh. Woo. People are saying, what have you said? Oh, you know, various things. All right. Some of which were not nice. Now, some of you are saying, wait a minute. Time out. You're not perfect? You mean you have faults? You're not a perfect person? You're not totally virtuous? Especially when it comes to certain topics. Well, it depends on what the topics are. No, not on any level. You say, what about beer, wine, and liquor? I know you're perfectly virtuous and never made a mistake with beer, wine, or liquor, or said anything negative. Oh, no, never with that. No. You say, what about anthropology? Please don't ask questions like that. You say, well, what about religion? Please don't ask questions like that. What about sociobiology? Please don't ask questions like that. What about history? Please don't ask questions like that. What about geography? Please don't ask questions like that. What about politics? Oh, definitely do not ask questions like that. I have like 12 Facebook friends left. Gruden should have. Hello, Ron. Hello, Max Walt. Here we go. I can't look at them, you see, because one is orange and one is brown. And neither one is colored. You say colored, you can't say colored. Neither one is a whiskey of color, because you can't add color into straight bourbon whiskey. Blended bourbon, oh yeah, you can do that. Blended American whiskey, oh yeah, you can do that. Blended Canadian, yeah. Blended yeah. Blended Scotch, yeah. Straight, single malt Scotch, yeah. But American straight bourbon whiskey, you can't add color. There are controversial opinions on geography. Yes. But they usually are not. They're usually under the umbrella of geography, but they're more like Because remember that geography is the study of the world and its people. So the controversy might come from the study of its people and so forth. Well, that smells like bourbon, don't you know? It's musky, fermented, then distilled grain product. Is it a little sourdough like a bagel? A little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Oh, now if John Gruden has a lot of free time and he wants to come on this channel and do beer, wine, and liquor reviews, hangouts, he could do it. I'll forgive him, even though I know he's more like sorry for being caught than sorry for what he did. But it's okay because I'm very I'm magnanimous, you know. I'm very magnanimous. I'm so magnanimous, it's scary, frightens me. But yes, if he wants to come on and if he's watching now, I'll let you come on now. Don't say anything nasty and ugly though. No, just talk about the beer, wine, and liquor, and then everything will be good, and I won't cancel you out. And I'm unanimous in that. They don't smell too different one to the other, honestly. Gruden will probably be doing a lot of drinking for the next several weeks. I don't know if he's a drinker or not. I'm not really a whiskey drinker myself. I do tastings. I like to taste it, but to sit down and drink it, like say, oh, I'm gonna drink some whiskey. I hate to burst your bubble, but I never do that. Like literally never do that. Like not at all. You hear what I'm saying? Like you say, well, I mean, you probably come home and do some mixed drinks, have some cocktails after work. No, I don't. So you might be saying, well, what kind of whiskey taster are you? You don't drink it ever, but you're tasting it and giving opinions. You're passing judgment on it. You're up there in the Sierra Mountains drinking. What am I drinking? Champagne cocktails, and you're passing judgment on my family. All right. Cheers. I do drink wine every day, about 3 ounces or less, not ever more, really. But you know, that's like chump change. But to drink hard liquor, I just don't like drinking it. I like tasting it, but to drink it, I'm not a fan of it. All right. It sounds bizarre, but it's interesting to taste this one. Oh, this one tastes like this, and that one tastes like that. This one's got a long finish. This one got a short finish. This one's tastes like pancake syrup. You know, talking about that rum. All right, this is very basic and nice. It's like I said, fermented grain. Doesn't really have the candy, the rock candy or sugar water taste. There's a little of the sourdough bagel though. The Tom Sims doesn't say it's sour mash, so I assume it isn't. Because anytime there's sour mash, you know, they're going to put that on the thing. It's sour mash. You know, like on television, if it's in color, they'll say this broadcast is in living color. I noticed that on TV, and they got a peacock, and it opens the tail. Gruden will probably. Oh yeah, Gruden. He could come on though. I'm serious though. I'm gonna cut the man a break. You say, well, have you ever gotten in trouble for things you said? Yeah, a lot of times. So I'm like Bill Clinton. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. And look at Bill Clinton. They still love Bill Clinton, you know, sort of. All right. I don't think they like him as much as well, he wasn't as hostile as they wanted him to be toward corporations. He was like making a partnership with corporations. And a lot of the people that support that side of the equation, they want to destroy corporations. But there, you say, well, that's the radicals. That's true. They only make up like probably 40% of that party. All right. All right. It's not that different from the other. This will be a hard taste challenge, but it's not going to be much of a taste challenge because they both about 11. At the most, you're going to pay is $11.99. I saw a video review where they paid $12 for Henry McKenna, and I said, "Oh man, that's too bad because I only paid $9.99, $8.99. Sorry, $8.99, $8.99, $8.99, $8.99." So there's a $1 difference on this purchase for these two products. $1 difference. So you say those are cheap bourbons, cheap straight bourbon whiskeys. Let's get it together and let's think about it rationally. You're over here doing video reviews of cheap bourbons. Yeah, I knew that when I bought them since they were like really cheap. And that's the normal price. It wasn't like a super sale. Okay. So it's funny how people will tell me things on YouTube that I clearly know. Like, hey, Natural Ice is a cheap beer. I'm like, really? I thought it was like West Platerin 12 or St. Bernardus Abbott 12. No, I knew it was cheap because that's what we call common knowledge. I don't need to be told what common knowledge is because we all have it. That's why it's called common knowledge. So to make a comment like that, you're not giving me an insight. You know, I know that. Good. Oh, good morning. Oh yeah, good morning. Good morning. So for inexpensive bourbon, and by the way, Henry McKenna whipped on some expensive bourbons. Like I did a blind taste test, didn't play favorites, didn't care, first of all. And some of these bourbons I paid all kind of money for, or well, not the Blantons because somebody gave it to me. $60 minimum for Blantons. So you're going to pay at least $60 minimum for Blantons. Did Blantons run head and shoulders ahead of McKenna? No. Not in my perception of it. I didn't even see where it was really better. You say, oh, but it's a single barrel. It's a single barrel. It's got a horsey. It's got a beautiful, pure cork bottle stopper, cap, whatever those are called. You got to wait in line to get it. You got to get on the waiting list. The different horsies spell out Blantons, B, and then an L, and people collect them. And some people pay $100 for that bottle. Yeah, I know all of that. But I knew what I was tasting, and I didn't see what was really, you know, they talked about that on the Jack Daniels tour, like single barrel. What is single barrel? That you're gonna, if you get Jack Daniels single barrel, you're gonna pay all kind of money. You may not have to wait in the line though. But the guy was like, they just grab a barrel and they say it's a single barrel. He said that doesn't mean it's better. It might not be as good. He said because the way they make Jack Daniels is they take bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, but bourbon from various barrels at the warehouses, and they blend them to get a perfect, what they call like quintessential Jack Daniels flavor. It's got to be within this tolerances. It can't go out the circle, you know, like if it's too sweet, can't. So they got to get it perfectly centered as the quintessential Jack Daniels taste. Like Budweiser can never vary, you know. You say, well, Budweiser ain't a blended beer. Yeah, it is a blended beer. They take beer from all kind of aging tanks and they blend it to make Budweiser, and they sell it in those bottles. And they taste it every day to make sure it's in that center template point. And they do the same thing with Jack Daniels. Well, a single barrel, they just pull in it. Might be too sweet. It might be too, bitter or whatever. But they do that with Blantons. And they put it in a fancy bottle in a box with a little plastic web around it. And that was introduced in 1984. It's like what you call it, intentional scarcity. They intentionally make it scarce so you can't find it. So then it's like a big thing. It's like Pappy Van Winkle. Then you'd be running here, there, everywhere looking for it. But I did a blind taste test, okay, without political considerations, without trying to say, oh, let me be careful and say the right thing. None of those. I just tasted them, and in a blind taste test, the performance level of Blanton's has not really been that good. No. Say what you will. Could Henry McKenna be the best value on the market? Could be. Could be. Now, how's it doing against Tom Sims? It's a tie. Is one way better than the other? Not to my recollection, or not to my recollection, not to my perception. They both have like that sourdough bagel taste, which I know one is sourdough, one's a sour mash, one's not. Although some people said it doesn't really make a difference, just a priming, like priming the pumps type of way of production. Light bodied, more or less, or light to medium body. Sorry, medium long finish. What about nastiness, off-putting flavors, aromas? Like they're cheap, so they got all these off nasty things. Well, I don't taste anything like that. Am I a master taster? Can I do like these big famous people that work for Johnny Walker and Crown Royal? Well, no, that's why I don't work for them. That's why I'm sitting at home on a computer doing this. If I was, you say, you might be better than them, though. You never know. That's true. I don't know because I never did pursue that career. Do I think I could do that job? Well, I get the impression that I could. I ain't going to. I'm not going to. So in this case, we'll just go with the cheaper one, which is the Henry McKenna. It wins by default. It doesn't win by reality. You understand what I'm saying? Like it doesn't really taste better than the Tom Sims, and the Tom Sims doesn't really taste better than it. It's just that, well, I could save $1, so I'll get the Henry McKenna. So the fact that Henry McKenna won over another cheap bourbon doesn't mean anything. The fact that Henry McKenna won over a lot more expensive bourbons means a lot to me. It's like that shouldn't happen, right? I mean, if you pay a whole lot for bourbon, $60 or $50 or even $40, and it's not outpacing the $9 bourbon, is there a problem? You say, yeah, you don't know how to taste bourbon. You're wrong. Okay, fine, but I can only taste stuff for myself anyway. I can't taste for you. I make a video. I can make a video and you can watch it and say, I can say, oh, this beer tastes so fruity. Oh, this beer is so bitter. The bitterness is building. I can't believe it. I'm so impressed. All right. And you can watch it, but you got to taste it for yourself anyway. It's the same thing with these. Is it because I'm no good at tasting bourbon? I don't believe that. I don't think that's the case. I think it's the fact that people might be getting scammed on bourbon, like they're paying way more than they should. Just saying. That's got to be the McKenna, man. It's got too much sourdough bagel in it. You say, is it a Linder's bagel or Thomas bagel? I don't know. I don't know. Or Cayenne, what is it? Whatever. I don't know. I don't know. What do I know for bagels? It is the Henry McKenna. Don't play with me. Oh, don't play with me. Because I said they were close, but I still got it right. And that means a lot. Now, some people might counterpoint and say that don't mean anything. That's a 50-50 shot. That's like flipping a quarter and you get heads. That's a 50-50 chance. Yeah, but I would rather not bring up those kind of details. I want to make it look like I know what I'm doing, you see. So if I get it right, I want to celebrate it. If I get it wrong, then we'll downplay it and say, well, it was just some obscure video on YouTube in the morning. Who cares? So we're going to emphasize the positive, accentuate the positive, and ignore the negative. And that's a good approach. You say, but that's a self-serving approach. Yeah, but I mean, why nitpick? You should see if Orangey wants to try some Henry McKenna. Laughing out loud. No, Orangey don't want to try Henry McKenna. Orangey likes cat food, but I hear Orangey crying outside the window. Wait. I hear you. Well, I'm going walking. I am going walking. Talking about Orangey there. There is Orangey. Wailing like a big baby. Okay, thanks for watching this video production. And for Wednesday, we're going to do Henry McKenna versus, what we versing? Oh, another cheap one and a really good one too. Stedman Select. I like how they say the legendary Stedman Select. It's so legendary. It's been on the market since 2019, or 2018 at the long. I can't remember. I have it written down somewhere. Uh, the legendary Stedman Select. You can get that huge glass jug bottle at Total Wine for like 19.95. No, 18.95. It was 19.95 at Walmart. 18.95. Aged 3 whole years, but it's 86 proof. That's the interesting thing. It's 86 proof, and it's from our friends at Buffalo Trace. But on the bottle they say IWA Distilling, Frankfort, Kentucky. They use an alias name, IWA Distilling, because they don't want it associated with Buffalo Trace, because it's not listed as one of their brands. But it is. But anyway, Stedman Select. I think the proof difference might clinch it, like 86 proof versus 80. Don't know. And then then we're going to close it out Thursday with another low life. You say a low life. What a way to promote your channel, right? Yeah. Bellows Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Well, that's actually an old brand going back to 1830. But don't worry, because there are dozens of people around the world who love Bellows Bourbon Whiskey. Oh, golly. And when I tell you that I got it for, when I tell you Thursday morning that I bought that liter bottle for $5.99, you won't believe it. But I'm not going to mention that this morning. I won't mention this morning that I paid $5.99 for it. But when I mention that Thursday, you'll be shocked, stunned, and maybe a little angry. Thanks for watching this video production.